for it to be flashed on the screen. I'm also just want to express my gratitude for being here again. Another action on Wild Rift, and we are also live stream right now on YouTube. And I just want to say hello to the viewers out there commenting in our chat.
Yeah, I actually want to check as to where we are live really because I checked the YouTube Wildrift Esports channel. Did say there that there is going to be a live, but that's the VN broadcast or Vietnamese broadcast. I'm not 100% sure on that, but to those people that are asking where we are on live right now, I'll be more than happy to send you a
Mm-hmm.
message, and we'll be more than happy to announce as well as to where you can enjoy the English broadcast of this momentous tournament. Again, Young, the main reason why we are doing this is to heat things up, right?
Yes.
There's an upcoming SEA Games that will happen this coming May, and what is it? It's already March. Oh my God!
It's
Feel
only a few. Well, I mean, the time span is a little long. I mean, it's almost 2 months away, but that flies so fast, especially in everything that is happening right now in the Wild Rift scene. And yeah, I think we are gonna be going towards our tournament format right now, and you guys are surely familiar with it already, as it has been a little bit flashed on the screen. But here it is. We have 2 days basically of eliminations, or like round robin, double round robin, for a
yep.
totaling of like 10 games for day number 1 and
Mm-hmm.
2. And then we are gonna head down to our single elimination, but a best of 5 final stage. So the top 4 is gonna have a big battle towards the top.
Yeah, it's a little bit forgiving here, Kiyang, because again, the qualifier stage does have 5 teams, so there will only be just one team that will not be advancing. Who that is going to
Mm-hmm.
be, it will be a sad, a sad story to behold. But at the end of the day, this is a much more forgiving tournament. There will be 4 people that will be advancing to the final stage, and I cannot wait
True.
really as to who's going to join. Maybe Vietnam and the Philippines, and maybe even Singapore, because those 3 teams, at least in my opinion, at least in my eyes, already have a booked
Yeah.
seat in the final stage.
Yeah, they have a vast amount of experience and also accomplishment over the past few, years here in Wild Rift. And well, one of the most important things to talk about here is the prize pool, in which, well, the first placer, or the champion, will get the whopping amount of course, the 2,000 US dollars plus. We
Uh-huh.
have second player securing 1,000, third and fourth players securing 500. But there's also a big catch here, because every win these teams secure in the qualifier stage, they will get $300. So that is gonna total to 10,000 US dollars. All the wins is gonna matter here for these teams.
Huge amount of prize pool and very much deserved by the Wild Rift community. Again, when talking about prize pool, yeah, it's one thing, but another thing is the prestige, and being able to
Yes.
represent your country is definitely going to be up there. And I do understand, I do know this players, a lot of these players wants to, put their pride on stake right now, wants to stake their pride, whatever, and just wants to show off to the world what they're capable of in terms of Wild Rift. As we look into the participants, as I've mentioned earlier, it's going to be Vietnam, Philippines, Laos, Singapore, and of course Cambodia.
Yes, all these 5 teams are gonna have a lot of battles all throughout these 2 day period. This is just the first day of the qualifiers, and I believe we are gonna be scheduled. We are also gonna be seeing the schedule of matches next, and these teams, I mean, they've come across to each other so many times already in the past few months and years that Wildlife has grown. And there has been some changes here and there, especially because of the metas and also the patches being updated. Just recently, we had the patch 4.1, and it is going to be a bit of a nuance for those who aren't really able to comprehend yet what the changes are, especially with the new items. But here's gonna be the schedule of today, starting off with a match with Vietnam region and the Philippine region. This is going to be a an explosive start for today.
I mean, the fans of Vietnam and Philippines are quote unquote friendly with each other. They almost always going to exchange pleasantries in the comment section. So that is definitely going to be our highlight match of the day, followed by Cambodia versus Singapore. That will
Mhm.
be, I would say, the debut of Cambodia, at least in recent times in 2023. I feel that I haven't really seen them in previous tournaments, and there is a reason behind that. Match number three will be Philippines and Cambodia, followed by Laos versus Vietnam, another showing by Laos, or maybe a debut match by Laos. And of course, the match 5, 6 to 10 to follow.
Yes. 10 total games set in store for us today, filled with action here in the Wild Rift community, as well as, 10, well, 11 games, since we will also have a tiebreaker match for tomorrow in case there is a tiebreaker. And it is also going to be, well, filled with action for sure. These five teams or five regions have been exploring all methodologies to make most out of the meta. We saw even in the previous tournament that some teams are experimenting some champions. We even have seen like a fantastic performance with a Zoe just one shotting some people, especially when that champion is pretty much fed. But I'm also looking forward to how they are going to be adapting in 4.1, because we do see a lot of items being
Yeah,
readily available, especially for tanks.
introduced. Right, one word tanks. That has been the main story of patch 4.1. We're in, this is going to be, I would say, a study day for us, Ian, because yeah, there's a lot of champions that has been not really champions that has been changed, but there's some drastic improvements when it comes
Yeah,
to the itemizations of the tanks. We have seen Amaranth, the
yeah,
Twin Guard, you know, showing up in our rank games, and I saw a tweet by one of the personalities from Wild Rift that this item is so busted that you can actually equip it on marksman, and they
hmm,
would still be performing well to their duty, and that's something that we have to put into consideration. Of their champion that did actually appear, or the newest champion in the game as of the meantime in this particular patch is going to be Urgot, or
yeah.
as I call it, Urgot. We'll see if
Urko.
Urgot will be, will be joining us today, Guillaume.
I saw a couple of videos as well on social media platforms, just showcasing this champion. Also some funny clips wherein there is an outplay going on. The enemy is supposedly being able to escape, and then suddenly there's a wild Urgot ult just catching at him and just basically ending his supposedly good reel. And also I'm really excited about the other item as well, the Amaranth Twin Guard, because it gives me so much vibes on the Jack Show in League of Legends PC. You
Uh,
gain increased durability over the course of your combat period, and suddenly you get a big boost of that, a big chunk after the 5 second mark. And that item pretty much, or at least Jack Show, had been like a key item in the tanks for quite a while before it got nerfed down. So in here, as it gets implemented in Wild Rift as well, I'm gonna be looking forward to seeing the interaction between these new items, and also which item actually will be prioritized by these amazing teams.
all right. I mean, to be fair, it's been a long time coming since we've seen, various tanks. We've seen Garen, we've seen Nautilus, we've seen Galio, and Gragas as well. But most of the champions are often put in the support role. So that could also mean that, this champion does have another item path, and get those
Mhm.
items real quick. Just to add on to your thoughts, there are also some changes when it comes to the Thornmail, and also Searing Crown has been added onto the Wild Rift, which is an alternative for Sunfire Cape, which is something to really look into here, Guiyang.
Yeah.
All I know is that there's going to be a lot of bruisers still, and if these items are really at a very busted level, then I'm expecting the bruisers to equip them as well as their third, fourth item.
And I like what you said earlier. I mean, the tweet that you have seen on the mantle of the 12R, because mostly when there's like items, it's dedicated to a certain role, like support or
Uh,
tank, especially with the tank items that we do see right now in the patch. But especially with the marksmen also implementing it, especially that it does give a big boost on their durability. It does change things up here in the mixing it up here in this meta, in which it might affect as well the pickings of the teams later on, because we have seen the trend for so long, the Riven, the Galio, the Senna, the Karma, the Yone, the Gwen, whatnot. And I believe I'm just looking forward to seeing some slight change here in their pickings. we have been seeing them as like the standard already in the picks and bans, but I'm always looking for something new. I was excited when I saw the Zoe, but I want more.
I mean, absolutely, right? I mean, who doesn't want new champions to join us in Wildrift competitive, right? Again,
Yeah,
the biggest wild card for me is Urgot, just
yeah,
because it's in a very special place. It's not a bruiser, it's not a marksman. It's a little bit of a combination of both. It's also an assassin if you actually put into consideration
hmm,
the ultimate of Urgot. But there's another things to consider. There's a lot of things to consider here, Giyang, right? Camille, is it still going to be the first pick worthy champion that we've seen him? Will there be another marksman in play? Because now that there are tanks, you need shredders. But so far, at least in the meta that we have here in Wild Rift Competitive, it has always been Lucian, the Corki, and nothing else, right? Sometimes there's the Varus, Ash maybe, but Ash is really built for utility, not really for
yeah.
damage. So those are the four marksmen that we have seen so far. Will there be a new challenger appearing in our midst? Will there be a misfortune, Caitlyn? Maybe I don't know.
Uh, or wait, will they? I'm just throwing it out there. Will they put the Urgot in the Dragon Lane since it's pretty much a ranged champion? And actually, it's one of the first ranged kind of bruiser tanks or fighters that was released for top lane, especially with the update that he received way back, and it was a big counter to all those other fighters before in the meta, and pretty much dominates. And it's very difficult to deal with an Urgot generally on a solo lane. Sometimes you would need some help from your jungler to try and pin him down and also gain leverage in terms of items. But overall, especially that this champion is relatively new and Wild Rift, I'm looking forward to seeing these teams kind of like eyeing on this champion as well.
I mean, that's the idea, right? You should be
Yeah.
the lane bully if you're the Urgot user, especially in the Baron lane. But there's a lot of things to consider in Wilder competitive. Oftentimes, the
Hmm.
support actually does roam with the first 30 seconds of the game. Making sure that the weaker lanes would be helped at would be helped at the very first few minutes of the game, just to make sure that they will have a better laning phase. In fact, I dare to say it. There's actually no point, in drafting for lanes. All you have to do is to make sure that you have enough wave clear to get the pressure, to get the priority, to supplement and to support your junglers, because the junglers
Yeah.
right now are in a state that if you actually give them a small amount of lead, they can actually snowball the game for you.
One of the biggest impact to players or role is the support. Definitely high impact all throughout the game with all those roaming potential, and given the kind of meta right now being state in Wild Rift, just all you need to have is some wave clear, like what you mentioned, and you're gonna be able to at least stall the waves out. And it's up to the execution based on the composition that the team actually drafted. Having enough engage, having enough damage in the early game, or if you draft an early game, then you're supposed to be going aggressive in that particular time period. But if you have like scaling, you should be trying to avoid some of those. The basic standard, the textbook
Yep.
plays here on Wild Rift already. That the professional teams already are kind of mastered already, and they're just looking for the slight inch of mistake that the enemy team will be making into the game. Because what we have stated it so many times already, Wild Rift is like a game of chess. You make a mistake somewhere in the middle, and that's just the thing that their enemy team is looking forward to punishing.
Of course, yeah. I mean, if it's a chess, I mean, who's Hikaru, right? Who's Carlos? What was it? What's his name again? I'm not 100% sure. I don't really follow chess competitive, but what I do follow is Wild Rift Esports, and there is also one thing that we can actually discuss here, Giyang, because inhibitor respawn adjustments. There's just one big thing that has been changed, and that inhibitors will no longer respawn after 19 minutes. So those comebacks that really relies on your inhibitors respawning will not happen at least past 19 minutes. They
Ooh.
really want to trim down the game time, and that's
Hmm.
actually a good change if you're to ask me. I'm not really a fan of comebacks. I want very decisive, punishing, pounding of opposing teams. So we'll see if that will impact our games today. Another thing to consider, Gian, there's two wildcard teams that we do have. Laos and Cambodia. We haven't seen them, very much,
Mhm.
at least in the previous tournaments that we have casted. And yeah, I mean, if there is going to be one thing to look forward to this day, except for aside from the fact that we will have Vietnam versus the Philippines, it's that Laos and Cambodia. How would they fare against the more experienced
Mhm.
teams? We have Singapore, the bronze medalist. We have Philippines, the new and improved roster of the Philippine team. We have Vietnam, repped by Cerberus Esports. So yeah, I'm kind of
So
scared,
it's
but I'm also hopeful for Laos and Cambodia.
basically it's not looking good for both of these both of them right now. I mean, they have to put up such a big or contest a big challenge way ahead of them right now. Cambodia and Laos are most likely gonna be fighting for that one spot, since we all only have like four teams going towards the playoffs for day number 3. So luck to them as well, and we're also looking forward for sure to seeing how they are going to be perform against these other overachieving regions already, Vietnam, Philippines, and Singapore, in which all they're doing right now is securing, their name, trying to maintain their name on the top spot
Of
for
course.
all time's sake.
Yeah. There are a lot of things. It's 10 matches, Kiyoung. We can actually reserve some of our talking points for later.
Oh, yeah.
But
Mhm.
I can actually, invite our viewers to also tweet, mention us. My Twitter is at AutoCasts. So if there's a question that you want to raise, you can tweet at me or tweet at Gia. Or you can actually use the comment section on YouTube, because apparently
Yeah.
we are live on YouTube. It's on.
Yeah, it's
It's in the
English.
English language. It's
Yes.
not Vietnam. It was the title says VN earlier, and now it's changed to EN, which is actually very good. So yeah, I'm actually reading some of the comments here, but by the time that we enter the game, of course, no comments because we have to concentrate on the game.
Yeah, but we do appreciate the comments that they are, or the support that they are giving towards this amazing event, by right, of course. And I believe these viewers are gonna have a lot of fun in today's set of games, schedule of games, because we have 10 games like we have mentioned earlier, and it's gonna be filled with action for sure. I'm really excited to seeing how they are gonna be adapting towards the recent patches, and we're just waiting for teams to actually be ready as well. That's why we are you're seeing us for an extended period of time, but by the time we do start with the drafting and with the end game, it's all gonna be going straight for sure. But just chill for a while we all wait for the match to start, because again, this is an international event. It does take a lot of effort to kind of organize, and also put in sync everyone from all regions.
Just excited, Giang overall. I cannot wait. I know that the viewers cannot wait for the game. We cannot wait for the game, but we're just waiting for the go signal to really enter the draft. I mean, it's Vietnam versus the Philippines. You have to make sure that all working conditions are actually checked. That you have a very good connection, that you have a very good background. By the way, it's so hot here in the Philippines. To
True,
all the
36
viewers out
degrees,
there.
37. Whew.
Yeah, I
Oh
mean,
my
it's
lord.
it's the summer. It's
Is
the
that
summer
some?
heat, and I'm on.
Oh,
I'm wearing a coat. So
yeah,
guys,
we're very
please help me.
help us, guys. Help us, guys. Especially with the heat that is going to happen here on today's games. Definitely, it's going to be a sweaty day for all of us, especially on the hotter regions right now. Well, most
Yeah,
of us
I was
yeah,
talking
we're all-
to our prod team, and they said that in Vietnam it's still spring. So luckily for them,
Wow, lucky.
it's not as warm as what we are experiencing here, Giyang. And I feel that this torture will happen in the next 3 months. So
No.
if you haven't visited the Philippines, I definitely would love to invite you over to
At this
very
time,
beautiful country.
I
Just make sure
challenge you guys.
I mean, they can go to our very good places like
Mm.
Bora or Baguio.
I believe La
somewhere
Union
else,
as well
Palawan.
is really nice for today. Union,
Maybe.
Palawan, all
Yeah.
those good places has really nice beach. Just make sure to stay hydrated, of course, and put some
Uh-huh.
sunscreen so that your skin don't burn. Because you physically feel the DPS on your skin. Like the moment like it's 10 a.m. onwards, you feel the sun burning, toasting your skin. That's how hot it is right now. Because I already have like a couple of tan lines on me already from just walking outside.
Ex- Tan lines, okay. All right, Giyang in his tan lines. All right, okay, okay. That's not what I expected to hear for to begin the day, but of yeah, of course, like sure, man.
All
I
right,
think we are entering the draft here,
are
Giyang.
we?
Finally.
Yes, yes,
Oh,
finally.
there we go.
Vietnam and the Philippines match up, the first match for today's day one qualifier. And of course, we are both excited here as well as our viewers. So make sure to support the teams right now participating in the Southeast Asia Esports Championship. And they are going to give us a good show for sure.
Of course, I mean this is like our highlight match of the day. Experience wise, definitely up there. Roster wise, definitely up there. Aggressive wise, definitely up there. I mean, all the stakes, and it's about sending a message to the whole tournament. If you actually
Mm-hmm.
win this key matchup, it's safe to say that you are the team to beat, right?
True.
Heading into the final stage, right, which is going to happen on Sunday. And again, Vietnam, they will be repped by Cerberus Esports, and there you go, the starting five with of course BY1 and the Baron Lane, a Yone main, hence the name Y1. A very good
Mm-hmm.
jungler, the ace of this team Meliodas, and going to be joined by BMM, Genza, and the veteran presence of Akeno.
I honestly really like the synergy of this team because it really stuck to me when they go in on team fights and basically win some of those team fights that's supposed to be their loss. And I think it's one of the most important thing to take note of on this team is the synergy between Y1 and Meliodas and BMM and Akino. Those playmakers of the team just make sure that their team wins. And now going towards the Philippines, I mean, do they even need an introduction here? I mean,
I
they're
mean,
really
yeah, of
strong
course
right
they
now.
do.
Yeah, just he being really strong in the jungle. Demon Kite, this guy I have been following for so long, ever since he joined the Wild Rift scene. And I forgot what team he was before, but in the first few community tournaments, he was already showcasing his skill set on the vein.
Yeah, I mean, Demon Kite is the player, the only player that has repped the Philippines already twice now in international SEA Games. Right, last year he was repping the Oasis gaming banner, but before that he was actually part of VVV, part of LOL PC as well. So a very wide array of teams that he has joined prior to really joining the Behemoth team, the All Star lineup of Nigma Galaxy. But if there's actually a key matchup that we have to discuss here, Giyang, it's definitely going to be the jungle because it's going to be
Yeah,
just Chi versus Meliodas.
definitely. The who is gonna have the most impact in the jungle here? Will it be Meliodas or Joshi? And going towards the ban right now, it's still just pretty standard. We can see the Karma being taken away here by Team Vietnam. Philippines just taking away the Camille here, which does have a significant amount of impact that can be fully utilized as well here by Y1 and Meliodas.
Yeah, I mean, the question that we presented earlier, Giyang, is Camille really still the first pick worthy champion that we've seen her,
Mm-hmm.
numerous times in the past couple of months, past couple, metas? The answer is an absolute yes, because Philippines is already taking away that champion of Vietnam. There's a lot of
Ooh.
options here. Meanwhile, on the other side, Vietnam is actually targeting the supports, the enchanters. We see the Yumi, we see the Karma. If there is one champion that can really work well with the Philippines, it's the Yumi paired with the Aatrox. But they're forgetting one thing. We still have Draw here, one of our best playmakers in the support role. I dubbed him as someone that can pull off the quick draw, which is basically a move with Galio and Gragas maximizing his flash usage for that potential of an engage. So yeah, I'm actually liking the ban so far because the Philippines still has flexibility all across the board.
Huge flexibility for sure, in both of those champions readily available for draw to be picking up later on. Since Vietnam, they have focused more on the utility plus the Gwen here. Philippines has taken away so far the Camille, even the Senna here in the latter stage. So Vietnam now with their first pick can pick up well anything that they do want to set and play for themselves. Given that
Jace?
even Jace even was a little fixed
Uh,
in the recent
Actually, it
past,
was
especially
buffed.
on his cooldown.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was buffed. I mean, for some
The
for
cooldown.
some strange for some strange reason, it was still buffed. I mean, the priority on that champion was already at an all-time high, and the balancing team decided, hey, it's not enough yet. We
It's
need you to, we need
We
you
need
to
more.
overperform. Yeah, there you go. I mean, now we're seeing at least in the first few picks that we have here, Kiyang, that it still is the Bruiser meta. They go for the Riven, they go for the Fiora. There are still other champions that are available. We still have the Jax that would also be that can also be used for that late game insurance. And speaking of Jace, finally we're seeing Jace for the Philippines. I'm wondering as to who's going to use it, because we all know that Chami is a lane bully and can really excel on this champions. Aatrox is bad, so yeah, one of the problems that can be presented of that gap closing potential has already been taken away by the Philippines.
No Karma Nautilus combination as well gonna be present here, since it has been banned away by Vietnam in the first banning phase. But they will pick up the Zed, which is one of the premier champions here of BMM, going for those flashy moves and trying to assassinate the squishy member of the enemy team. But wow, okay, they bring out the cinch here for the Philippines. Wow, they're showing such a slap here right now.
Yeah, patch 4.1, welcome back, Cinch. Cinch
Yeah.
has been a very, very popular pick back in the Icons Global. Actually, even before that, because it's so flexible, it's so low econ, and one of the most underrated things about Cinch is his second skill. Once you actually put the Mega Adhesive glue, I
Nobody
forgot
can
what
escape.
I forgot what it's called really, but the super mega adhesive second skill by the cinch, you can actually disrupt the dashes that is available for the Riven, that is available for the Zed, even the Nautilus. You can even disrupt the flashes. So all those engages, once you have cinch, you can actually expect that it will just be a very annoying champion to play against.
Especially when the coordination is really well put by the Sedge player. You fling someone towards a mega adhesive and the follow-up comes through from your allies, and it's going to be a GG to whoever the victim is. Plus the new items right now definitely suit the Singe playstyle. I mean, I don't even know which item are they going to be putting towards Singe. Will it be the Mantle of 12 hour? Will it be the Amaranth Twin Guard? Will they go with the Sunfire here? Or I don't know, because these teams know more on this.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I'm guessing, Giyang. I'm raising my hand.
all right.
It's still
What is
going
it?
to
What
be
is
the
it?
Rhylice Crystal Scepter
The slow.
with the Leandris. I'm not 100% sure if there will be any changes, but just the value of that item onto a cinch,
Oh,
the
sure.
slows, the HP, the AP, everything is actually so good on this champion. We're looking into the second rotation of bans. Wukong has been banned away. Renekton has been banned away as well. Two of the champions that can deal very well against the Cinch because of the sudden burst has been taken away by the Philippines. And now they're going full utility here. Demon Cat would be playing the Ashe. But the question that I have, Guillaume, is this going to be a utility Ashe? Because we know that Demon Cat really loves to dish out damage. And this Ashe can be built two ways. Although in competitive, we've seen, the utility Ashe 95% of the time.
95 for sure. And Team Vietnam already even picked up an Alistar here on their side. So double front line, basically a lot of front lines in their kit. Now Philippines will just pick up the quick draw here for a draw, definitely with the Galio. That is another initiator ready to make the place here for the Philippine region. And I like the matchup here. So many tools for engage here on both sides. It's going to take a lot to who's ever gonna get the first tempo in the game.
It's a very straightforward draft, but what I'm wondering right now is where is this going to? Oh, I mean, where is this Nautilus going to be? Is it going to be in the jungle role? Because as you can see in the draft of Vietnam, there are two supports at the moment. You have the Nautilus and you have the Alistar. I've seen Nautilus played in the jungle, in scrim results, whatnot. I did not pay attention to it so much, but it does feel like that Vietnam is very comfortable in playing so. The only question though is it really going to be the best game plan? Because Giyang for me, Meliodas is a very good jungler, and if you basically put him on a utility support such as the Nautilus, maybe you're actually negating some of his impact towards the late game.
Yeah, true. So maybe Team Vietnam are just going to be looking for a big initiator here, since the Nautilus does possess a lot of crowd control in a sense. Against to try and leverage Y1 and BMM on mid and top lane.
Oh.
But you do see Demon Kite here as well on top lane. And maybe they're just going to be looking to bully Y1 at the very start of this match.
Textbook NGX or textbook Philippines team rotation. They want to make sure that Chami would have the early game advantage that he's really good at maximizing, and not to mention that draw would be left by his lone sub, which means that he can actually farm a lot of resources, allowing him to get easier access to Rod of Ages maybe later in the game.
Yeah, and when it does get that Rod of Ages, it's gonna help so much in the scaling as well. Vietnam has to be very careful for sure, especially that they're the ones who should be looking for the picks with the Nautilus jungle. But give it a matchup actually here as they send Hakano all to top. Genza might be in a difficult trouble.
No way.
The Ignite will get him. Wow, as we go towards the top line now, Philippines securing first blood, throwing the first punch here at Team Vietnam.
Speaking of punches, this is just a punch. I believe that is connecting over to Genza. Genza with no heal whatsoever, just has the ghost and the flash, suffers the first casualty for Vietnam. Meliodas though, again on the jungle Nautilus. I'm eager to see as to how he's going to build this one out. Maybe on the AP side, because actually I can actually see him prioritizing the amplifying tone. The 2v2 in the top lane continues. Very good two-man pulverize combo from Akeno.
Yeah, just throwing punches at each other. That's Y1 with a double stun. But not much threat being felt here by the Philippine region, since they do have Demon Kite just basically kiting away against these two melee champions. Team Vietnam still not really in a down spot right now, despite Genza falling down a while ago. Still is able to try to catch up here in the economy of draw. Only 400 down, but on top side another fight breaking out. Meliodas just gonna be helping them for the meantime, since Akino has to recall.
That's actually a very good discipline coming from the Philippines. Demon Kite and Chami had the option to go and flash in, but they decided not to do so because they did not have enough information as to where Meliodas is.
Oh no! That's the parry, and the flash used to just escape after, unfortunately, getting caught there by Meliodas. Oh, what? And he gets the kill!
What the heck?
And what? He survives! What is this guy made of? Team Vietnam explodes here in the top lane.
Yeah, and now just trying to sniff where the Riven is at the moment. Would be delayed easily by Akeno, but what a play coming from Y1. That is what we call the destabilization factor coming from Vietnam. As we can see, Vietnam's Y1 going ham, does not have any qualms at all. Did not hesitate, and that fade away win slash, as he said, did actually get ahead of two heads of the Philippines. So yeah, with much credit that we're giving Philippines, Vietnam is actually, not too shabby as well with their punches.
Especially that Y1 got a double kill there. That is a big win for him. But now, as the Philippine region tries to pummel him down, that's nowhere to go for Y1. 4 versus 1, there's nothing that Akino can do. But BMM just pushing in the mid lane, and Akino just trying to clear out the wave. It's going to be very difficult to escape though, as Philippines again will get a second kill on that top fight.
Yeah, Unbreakable, not really. Meliodas still has the ultimate. is content in a way of clearing the pressure coming from the Philippines. But you know, the good news if you're a fan of the Philippines is that you were able to chunk down the tower onto less than 1800, which means that if they are actually able to get, you know, the Rift Herald, it's just going to be an easy summon for them. That's going to be the first tower for them as well. Very good counterplay coming for the Philippines, getting 2 hits in the price of nothing.
Mm-hmm. And gaining gold leverage right now so far. No, it's not really a lot. 1,000 only present here on the side of Team Philippines. And Team Vietnam still able to get across some gold all over the map. We haven't seen BMM joining a fight just yet. It's more so just collecting some gold from the platings in the mid lane and some from the waves in the side lanes. But his impact is so far not being seen here all throughout the game, and Team Vietnam has to look for ways to try and assassinate the backline, since Team Philippines does have 2 range in here, Tgee and Demon Kite. Well, when the Jace is on range form, is now they split up towards both objectives. The BMM actually is eyeing on engaging. Let's see if the pulverize can work. That's the death mark onto the front line. Tgee flashes away though, and now Team Philippines going at them hard, dishing away as BMM falls. Aaron is just doing so much work here in that fight. Whoa. And they even flash in to get the kill onto Genza. He did not expect that.
Flash into the fling, plus the Justice Punch to connect to boot. Now Philippines 3-man strong, trying to get some plates in the mid lane. And that's actually just a decent trade overall for both squads, because one, Vietnam was able to get a top tower, but you know, a couple of interactions that we have to look back into that particular team fight was that the heroes entrance did get cancelled. I thought that was a very good engage coming from Akeno. I feel that, you know, Akeno was in the perfect position to really disrupt the flow, the tempo of the Philippines, but Philippines came in ready and was able to get more heads, more gold for themselves, and plus the scaling factor of the Infernal Dragon.
That was a nice moment knockout by Akeno.
Boom!
Yeah, it's gonna connect. Oh, unfortunate there. And yeah, that's just gonna be the full combo swinging. Especially with the Mega Adhesive, you cannot escape at all. Yeah. Good job there by Demon Kite for sure.
What's the... Okay, it's called grounded, ladies and gentlemen. Whenever you are stepping on the mud, or what we call Mega Adhesive, you are grounded. You cannot flash, you cannot dash, you cannot do anything. You're slowed. So that's also a very good reason why pick up Singed. This is one of the champions that I have used to get the Grandmaster very easy, just because of how easy to control this champion. Plus the fact that if you actually know how to play the macro side of things, you don't have to have the best mechanics.
Oh, round 2. Oh no, it's a nightmare for BMM, but now in the mid lane, they do get draw. So that's a 1-for-1 trade plus a tower that Team Vietnam can actually get. One of the best towers to take here in the game. Philippines has lost it in mid.
Getting the trades are the Philippines in the bot lane, but yes, you're right. The mid lane tower is a little bit more important than the tower in the bot lane. Tgee though has to be careful. Akeno, the rampaging cow, is going to catch this Jace, and Tgee does not have any chance at all.
Yeah, low mana as well, and there's like, even a flash there by Meliodas. 100% commitment to shut down Tgee, and they do get it. Meliodas gets the gold, and Tgee will still get that Ilmus after dying in the bottom lane. We do see an equal grounds here in terms of gold for both of these teams. None are giving an inch towards each other. They full commit onto the fights, and they do get their chances every now and then. Eyes on Demon Kite though all the time, because those arrows keep on connecting, or at least pressure the members of Team Vietnam whenever they cast it.
No, that's true. I mean, if there is one caveat, oh, wait a minute.
Yeah, here's the caveat. Arrow not mid. Oh, what? The curved bullet. Moving from Wanted, definitely, as Team Philippines will be able to disengage, because they piled onto Chami pretty hard there.
And Chami is very hard to really assassinate. Just the fact that he can, or he will always have that repose to outplay. Look at his summoners. Did not even bother using his flash at all. So there's pretty much no threat. Now, the question that I do have right now is, will the Philippines challenge this Rift Herald that is going to summon, or that is going to spawn in 10 seconds? Because to me, it looks so risky right now. All the crowd
True.
control coming from Vietnam and all their beefy members in the front line does actually pose a threat. And look at the arrows
Uh-huh.
being thrown by Genza onto the members of Philippines. Draw is already at half health. The fight hasn't even started yet.
Yeah, but it will, as the death mark being used here on the Joshi. Lots of damage being done. Y1 gonna be joining, missing
Draw
the
is
AoE
dead.
damage show, but oh my god! That damage is too high
Okay.
coming from Team Vietnam. Joshi
Oh,
tries to retaliate.
Genza flashing in?
flashes in,
No.
makes a crucial mistake! What are you doing there? As Philippines punish him heavily. 2 for 2 now, as Team Vietnam rushes towards the Rift Herald. 2,900 HP remaining, but Aaron is trying to mess with them, throws a mega adhesive, but will not stop the taking of that objective.
A couple of more hits in the mid lane tower. Yeah, they're not going to be able to secure this one out. Meliodas still has the combo. Denied, easily killing spree.
Oh!
And there you go, 2 kills for the Philippines right away to respond to the Vietnam's play on the Rift Herald. All in all, I would say it's a small advantage for the Philippines because yes, they've given away one of the objectives, but it's not yet over here.
Yeah, round 2 definitely. Aaron
BMM.
gets obliterated, exploded in the face there of Team Philippines. But now, Draw trying to close the distance onto Genza. Has to back away for now. Chami is just gonna be helping it out. And a good answer actually by Aquino and BMM. Again, the combination has been there all the time, and just looking for more ways to pummel down Team Philippines. Now with crowd control again, Draw gets eliminated from the equation.
want the
How can they
dragon.
get the dragon now?
No,
They're just
they
completely
cannot.
being zoned away. Demon Kai tries to walk away, but what can they do? Everyone from
There will
Team
be a
Vietnam
dive.
is circling down towards the tower. Yeah, the dive will
5
commence.
people.
Y1 goes in
Easy.
the front and nobody will survive. I mean, Joshi goes for a stasis, but what can he do?
Nothing here, Kiyoung, and look at the cinch. Rushing towards the bot lane, deciding wisely to back away, but the Rift Herald could still slam the second inhibitor turret in the bot lane. Philippines taketh, Philippines giveth away. That's a very greedy play coming from the Philippines in trying to secure the I would say the chunkiest dragon of them all. That's the Mountain Dragon. Had
True.
it been the Ocean Dragon, it could have been a lot easier for them to secure, but because of the HP total of the Mountain Dragon, Vietnam did have enough time to respond into that play. As we look into the replay, it all started with Draw being less than half HP. Look at his impact. It's close to 0. Yes, he was able to taunt. Yes, he was able to do some stasis play, but he's dead right away. The crucial mistake, as you have said, is Genza flashing in, greeting towards Demon Kite, but Demon Kite, quick to his feet, was able to flash away, double kill over to Just She. Now, Just She, yes, Just She was able to get them the win in the earlier team fight, but here you can see that the HP of the dragon is still at 1,000 HP, and there's no way for them to be able to secure that with Akeno being in their midst.
Huge impact as well by Genza, despite him dying earlier. The chain of corruption is definitely a big problem here towards engage of the Philippine region. And Vietnam does have a lot of crowd control. Only BMM doesn't have the
Arrow,
crowd control.
Genza.
Genza got hit by the arrow, but not much to be followed up. But they might need to trade
Akeno.
Akino here since the Grand Challenge is being used. Demon
so
Kai is
tanky,
guiding
though.
away, but oh my god, Jammy gets
What?
blown
Demon
off.
Kai
And
flashed
now,
in.
here comes BMM. And the
Why,
damage
what?
being come through. Nice use of the stasis though, as
Demon Kai
BM
is still alive.
tries to go desperate there. Joshi and Aaron just do magnificent work in the front line. Deny even the kill there onto Demon Kai.
And this is where Philippines is so good at engaging and being very decisive. They were so decisive. They were so aggressive, catching multiple members of Vietnam out of position. And Demon Kai flashing in, I thought it was the end of him, but he still has stasis, and BMM was left to dry. No counterplay whatsoever for the squad of Vietnam. Philippines getting the advantage. That's 2 kills for them. And more importantly, they were able to negate the tempo that Vietnam was able to get on that second dragon.
And I love how tied up the score is right now for both of these teams. I mean, the gold, the dragon stacks, the tower takedowns. All the kill score is different, but it reflects so evenly here on the gold here for both of these teams. So they're doing such a magnificent job all throughout, countering each other, trying to initiate and pin down one another. But we're still at a stalemate position right now. Nice dodge, though, by
Yeah.
BMM. Wow, this guy is playing a lot of
What?
dodging games here in this game, as Team Philippines still gonna be on their cooldown now for the Ash Arrow of Demon Kite. So lesson of tools
Oh,
for those
Akeno!
engages. Akeno though making a big mistake. He will need to pop off that unbreakable
so
will.
tanky, though.
Y1 tries to help him zone away members of the Philippines, and they will be successful
Yeah.
at it.
Insanity Potion has been popped by Aaron as well. But one thing to note, if you actually did look at the scoreboard, Joshi was able to get 9 kills already and is already on his 4th item. So it's actually easy to say that this is the Just show. So far, almost all gold has been invested to him. He has the most gold in this game,
Oh!
Aaron!
Yeah, after the blast cone, they will get Genza blown up, and
Wow.
Akino simply cannot save his ADC. It's a sudden turn of tides here. Team
Wow.
Philippines now knocking on the door, knocking on the base of Team Vietnam. Meliodas Y1 trying desperately to save this
And
tower,
challenge.
but to no avail. That's Death Mark, and a big blow there after the Grand Challenge heal. And
Hero's
now that's
entrance?
everything on the line. Team Philippines just closing
Look
out
at
their
the
last
stasis.
remaining members. They have no wave though, yet we have to wait for this. That is connecting into the mid. Can
wanna finish
BMM
this. They wanna
defend?
finish
He's
this.
desperately trying. Yeah, Team Philippines, after securing an ace, they will secure the first blow and get that 1-0.
What a very decisive win coming from the Philippines in under less than 16 minutes here, Kiyang. Philippines dominates Vietnam.
And a fascinating performance here by Team Philippines. Team Vietnam did tremendous work though all throughout the game, but that decisive engage in the mid lane, the tower dive, the blast cone play of Aaron was not expected definitely of Team Vietnam. It was mwah.
Yeah, I mean,
Amen.
okay, first of all, Finch is not known to be a champion that can actually come in from, weird angles because he does not really have dashes over the wall. But because of the ability of that blasting cone, he was able to surprise the 2 members of Vietnam. Vietnam did think that sending 2 members was actually enough to defend the mid lane tower, but lo and behold, surprise, surprise, it's the Philippines Nigma Galaxy team that we are talking about. This team is just so decisive. They don't respect towers at all. They're going to dive you underneath your tower, in your fountain, in your base. And that's what we have seen so far. Very good game number 1, I would say. I mean, I'm all smiles. You can say I'm biased. I
Yeah.
don't care. it's a good game overall.
Yeah, Team Vietnam did really good work as well there in that particular game. They were able to get the small wins that they needed to try and match up the firepower there of Team Philippines. The dice that they have commenced in the bottom lane to take down Joshi and another player there from Team Philippines, and it's just that pinnacle moment in the mid lane that led to a disastrous result there for Team Vietnam. And I believe Team Philippines is going to be looking for more ways to win those kinds of games on their next upcoming matches, because we have a lot of games set in store for you guys here today. That's just the first match in all of the 9 games we are going to be witnessing and enjoying for the rest of the day.
And that's actually another thing to consider when facing against the Philippines. You don't know who's going to carry the game, right? We all know
Yeah,
that
true.
Chami is a beast in the Baron lane. We all know that Aaron can stand against the best of the best in the mid lane. And Demon Kite also carries or has the carry potential in almost all their games. But at least in this game, you see, Justry, he's not going to go for the utility. He's going to be up front and personal in dishing out damage as the Jace. And we did say that this is going to be a highlight matchup between the junglers. Tgee versus Meliodas. Round 1 goes to Tgee.
And I even saw, First Blood being won there by a draw. That's how big of an impact each individual is on this game. And let's check on the highlights of the game to just enjoy what happened in that first match.
Sure. Let's go. Let's go.
Let's
for,
go.
The
Let's go.
highlights.
Let's check it out.
But I mean, what a performance overall from both these teams. We can see this is one of the very good catches coming from BMM. If you're a BMM, you cannot fault him from not reacting at all to that very good arrow, because it did actually come from the fog of war, right? From the dark areas, and that's how you utilize the arrows. If it comes from terrains, the chances of you being able to react to that is close to minimum. And you could see right now, that's the very good blast cone over the wall. He was actually spotted by the ward, but Vietnam did not respect at all the ability of Aaron to be the engager on this cinch.
Yeah,
And that's one of the reasons why you have to be careful of the cinch. He's a very good engager. He's a very good tank right now. Did not really build any new items so far, but it's not like it's not needed, right? I mean, Rod of Ages into Rylai's is actually, a very good combo if you're talking about the cinch lineup.
the OG itemization for the Singe, such tremendous impact all throughout the game here for the whole of Team Philippines. Doing tremendous work in the whole of the game, and despite the efforts there of Team Vietnam, it was just not enough, especially when Genza and Akino were dead. Their wave clear was reduced significantly, and the race to prevent those pushes coming from the Philippines in the mid lane was just not enough, and that led to the fantastic victory of the Philippines. So well played. I mean, Team Vietnam still will have a game later on. Lots of games actually for today. Yeah, for all our regions, our teams here. So many ways to actually retake the victory and try to secure more points to qualify for day number 3.
That's true. I mean, there will be another matchup between the Philippines and the Vietnam because this is double round robin format, Giang. So round number 1 goes over to the Philippines, and on round number 2, I expect expect Vietnam to stay away from the Nautilus jungle. I'm not faulting the Nautilus jungle as a pick, right? But to me, you're actually doing more harm than good onto your overall roster, because when talking about Meliodas is like the superstar of the Vietnam team, of the Cerberus squad. And if you put him on Nautilus, he's not going to be as impactful, especially on the damage department. We know that Meliodas can play the carries. We know that Meliodas can play the Riven, can play the Lee Sin, can play the Graves even. So those are the other champions that I would love to watch Meliodas pop off on. Now, on the other side, if you're NGX, is there anything to fix? You know what? Maybe not. Maybe, some over-aggressive plays. Maybe some minor notes, minor details to fix. But if you are Coach Tgee and Coach Vansu, you'll be happy. You'll be happy with the overall aggression, overall decisiveness. And it's safe to say it's also calculated, Gian, because they have the hawk shot, which means that they have enough information before going for engages.
Yes, and normally they do get some information first before they actually make a move. Some miscalculations were present, like what you said, just like the Mountain Dragon take that was left with 1,000 HP before Team Vietnam actually countered them and swept them away. But yeah, it was just unlucky, unfortunate there for Team Philippines. But overall, their technicality on paper, they're doing really well, and they're just gonna be looking forward to polishing their movements more for their next succeeding games. And but since it's just a first match, lots of matches to be seen as well here by Team Vietnam and Team Philippines. And well, overall, it's just kind of like what you mentioned. It's just the testing ground for the first few games here.
We'll look into the stats and the player of the game, I feel. And there you go.
Yeah.
Stats of the game. Genza gets the most damage dealt, but that's okay, right? I mean, that's kind of expected, especially from a poke champion. But on the other side, the most damage dealt all throughout the game is Tgee, 21,698. This is the Jace that has been buffed, which we did question. The very beginning. I mean, why buff this champion? This champion already is in a very decent state, and now has been unlocked by Tgee in the Philippines. And there you go. No Rift Heralds needed by the Philippines. No Barons. No Elder Dragons, of course. Just needed one dragon, and very decisive team fights over and over again gets the win for the Philippines.
Yeah, even just one Infernal Dragon, and that helped them already in their team fights, especially with the information that they have gathered also far with Hawkshot of Demon Kite, with all those arrows coming from him. Some were dodged there by Team Vietnam, but most actually was made perfectly by Demon Kite to catch them off guard. And those kinds of plays is what makes Team Philippines really strong in today's game, and especially in the first match that led to their victory, among with the other tactics that they have done all throughout the game. Joshi with the whopping damage he actually dealt a while ago, and the amount of impact that he's done, he is crowned the MVP of this match. Definitely a well played
Yeah.
performance by this key player.
I mean, if your damage per minute is over 1,000, if your gold per minute is over 1,000, regardless of what game you play, be it League of Legends PC or Wild Rift, you will be the MVP. The KTA is 1.86, but make no mistake, all those kills was so impactful. And even in his death, he was able to dish out enough damage to really catapult the Philippines team ahead of the curve. Right now, the standing 1-0 for the Philippines. Care off your Mr. MVP, Just Shit.
Definitely. And well, the Jays buff definitely is made most here by Joshi as well as the Team Philippines, and him being the key player definitely highlights the performance of this amazing player of Nigma Galaxy, and we are definitely looking forward to more plays being made here by not only Joshi but by the rest of Team Philippines after their magnificent game here in game number 1. And I believe that is going to be if we're now here in our first match. I mean, Team Vietnam, they tried their ways. They tried the Nautilus in the jungle, which honestly for me as well, I didn't see that much impact. It's aside from the tankiness, and some crowd control. But in the early game, what I really expect from the Nautilus is definitely those ganks coming through to try and dominate one or two lanes for Team Vietnam. But that's not what we saw earlier, and we saw more proactivity towards the Philippines. So congratulations to them.
That's right, and I feel that we're going to hop onto a very short break here, Giang. And as we go back, we will be witnessing match number 2. So, guys, do not go anywhere.
Oh, I believe we still have a few seconds to go before we actually hop on to our short break. So make sure to support in the comment section the teams that are participating here for today's games. And of course, we are gonna be back in a short while. This is Giang and Oculus, your shoutcasters. You're watching Southeast Asia Esports Championship. We'll be back. And welcome back to the Southeast Asia Esports Championship 2023. And after that fantastic game number 1, we are now going to be heading down to our next game for today, Cambodia versus Singapore. And we are still your shoutcasters for today. My name is Gyong and Otolus.
Hello. But yes, this will be featuring I would say the home court team, the home team for the upcoming SEA Games, Cambodia. They will be facing against the bronze medalist from the last SEA Games Wild Rift Men's Division in Singapore. So a lot to unpack, but when it comes to advantages as to who I think is the favorite to win this matchup, it's going to be the Singapore squad, just because they are fielding a roster that knows how to play off of each other. They still have a very good jungler in Shinsekai. They have Jingai and the company, right? So the squad of Singapore is nothing to belittle. Meanwhile, on the other side, Cambodia has a lot to prove. So we're going to wait and see as to how they're going to perform against one of the best teams in Southeast Asia.
Yeah, definitely. Because it's going to be a tough one for them if ever they are not that much prepared to match the performance here of Team Singapore. And we have yet to see, how they are going to be matching against them so far here in this game. And we talked about this as well, Oculus, during the moment we started the live stream. Team Cambodia and Team Laos will need to do a lot here for today's games and also for tomorrow.
Oh yeah, of course. How do they penetrate through the experienced squads is something that we have to watch out for. Again, if we are the coaches of the team, I believe that Cambodia does have a Filipino coach. I think Coach Link still is at the helm, at least for this game. So I know that Link is doing a good job in spearheading this 5-man squad of Cambodia. And I feel that when it comes to mechanics, they can stand against the best of the best. But when it comes to handling the pressure, being able to perform at your best when it comes to stage games, that's where we will have to question Cambodia just because we don't know how they will perform in this stage games or in this live events, especially against the best of the best.
They have a lot to prove, definitely here in today's games. This will serve as a platform for them to demonstrate how they are going to be able, or how capable of them to match against these other regions performing right now, especially Team Vietnam, Team Philippines, Team Singapore being very prepped for today's matches. In preparation, of course, since this tournament is just a spice up event here for the SEA Games later on in the next couple of months, and this is a way as well for teams to demonstrate their skills and talents. The road to the top spot here, and as well as securing the top the bunk of the prize pool, but also having, like what you mentioned, having their names being listed as the top performing team is definitely something being looked forward, not only by the players but also the overall team itself, to just make sure that they remain on the top and basically tell everybody that no one can beat them, or it will take a while or take so much effort to take them on.
For the viewers as well, this is going to be an exciting experience to watch Wild Rift Esports in just one weekend. It's action-packed. Again, that's 10 BO1s for days 1 and 2. And on day number 3, which is called the final stage, it will be a series of best of 5s, single elimination, that is Giyang. But if there is also another thing to consider when it comes to this tournament, is that this will be not just a proving ground for Cambodia and Laos, but also something that they can actually get experience from. Again, I'm not 100% sure if the scrimmages between Cambodia and the other teams in Southeast Asia are at an all-time high. We all know that in order for you to be able to book some scrimmages, you have to have certain level of resume,
like credibility, right?
Yeah, credibility before they even bother scream against you.
They have to be interested in you as well before you get their attention. Right? You get to scrim with them.
True, and now this is their time to show to the whole world, to the whole of Southeast Asia, that hey, you know what? We are the real deal, and you might want to practice with us, and so on and so forth.
Oh, I mean, this is the way. Let's see if Team Cambodia can do it right now. And well, this is going to be a nice matchup as well. Team Cambodia versus Team Singapore, and they are going to be matching with everybody here for sure, and try to gather as much information as they can. Maybe pull up a couple of wins as well, since I don't know. Maybe they can actually do it, but given the circumstance, we are kind of led to assume the dominance here by the other three regions so far. And I always like to be proven wrong in this case. I really like those redemption stories and also those build up as well on the David and Goliath stories, something like that. And hopefully we do see some of that here in today's matchup and also in today's games, because that's what I like, honestly, because it's also natural for us, especially us casters, making some analysis, making some predictions along the way. Even before the match even starts, we kind of have an inkling on who is actually going to be winning. But sometimes it doesn't happen, and sometimes that happening makes us feel excited more on the next time we do see the teams performing or go fight.
Definitely, definitely. I mean, being proven wrong is one thing, but I want to prove it. I want to prove myself right most of the time. Although my name is Auto Lose, I hate losing. So let's go into the draft here, Giyang, as we start. The very very heated matchup between Singapore and Cambodia.
Mm-hmm. Really excited for this for sure. It is Team versus Team Singapore in her first match for today's set of games. Definitely gonna set the momentum, the pace here for both of the teams. So and see how they are going to be performing in their first match after witnessing the first battle, Team Vietnam and Team Philippines. Definitely they are also taking notes of the other games that they are witnessing, and also along the way here, along the way for today's games and tomorrow, to kind of adapt the strategies towards their favor as well.
Of course, of course. I mean, to take something from your opponent is one thing, but to take something from game number one is also another, right? Oftentimes when it comes to this tournaments, Giyang, we often see, the first match, the first few matches dictate the overall meta of the game, the overall approach in the tournament. And we saw in game number one as to how busted Jace is still in this current meta. And there is also another showing of a tank in the mid lane, which is Singed, some champion that was very popular a couple of months ago, that just fell off by a bit. Will there be another showing of that for Cambodia or for Singapore? As we look into the roster representing Cambodia, we have Rin, we have Jim, Ken, M Sing, and Eric Snick. I would be pronouncing it as Eric Snick. If you want to correct me, just let me know via the comment section, and I will be more than happy to do so.
Mm-hmm. These players are going to be the ones setting it off here for game number one on Team Cambodia, matching Team Singapore, which is very much ready as well here for today's set of games. And, we talked about the momentum. We talked about first match already here. And Team Cambodia, I'm looking forward to seeing them perform, definitely. And for the viewers as well, watching in the live stream, please do show your support to whoever team or region you are rooting for. Of course, they definitely would experience would love to see your support as well as us. We love seeing your support towards the teams right now doing their very best to represent their region.
I feel like that I've already seen M Sing once before. I've casted M Sing once before, so there is I'll check my notes as to if I've really casted this guy. But if I've really casted this guy, then that just means that he's like the big brother of this Cambodia team. On the other side, we have Singapore. This is basically, the best team from the Singapore that we've witnessed, even back in the season one of Wild Rift Competitive, in where we saw three members of this squad go with the Alliance. Jinkai, Shinsekai, or SSK, and JK is actually manning the top side of the map. Meanwhile, Raven, WJ, and Soul will be in the mid and the bot lane. Again, guys, to just refresh your memory, Singapore was the bronze medalist in the SEA Games last year. So do not count the Singapore team out.
And a big credibility for sure here towards this game. And big honor for sure here for Team Cambodia to to be able to match upon them right now in this first game. A big challenge for sure, a big mountain to climb, heading towards game number or their first game, but definitely something worth a nodie of them for sure. And look, I'm also looking forward to seeing how they are going to be adapting for today's game as we, are heading down towards the picks and bans. Team Cambodia going to be on the blue side, the Team Singapore on the red side. So first pick priority for Team Singapore. Let's see how they are going to be limiting the champions here for Team Singapore. Looks like it's going to be the fighters era here taken away.
Of course, Bruisers, Riven, take away the Riven, take away the Kneel. All those pesky champions that can really be so flexible and still has a scaling component onto them. Has to be removed. Singapore responds right away with the Aatrox ban. SSK is also a very good Lee Sin player, and also Kha'Zix. So those are two champions that Singapore can default back to if they want to, show their mechanics, show their chops. Also, I realized that Singapore is also one of the teams that really loves their Twisted Fates. So we could be seeing Twisted Fate showing up at least in this game number 2.
Maybe, though it's
Maybe.
not really what we not really would see or
Okay.
we would like to see so far here in most of our games. But I guess if they can make it work, then they should maybe try it. Team Cambodia does possess the first priority, first to pick here, and well, a lot of champions are present here. They can actually go for the Karma if that would be their way, or maybe just go with one of the most OP champions
Ooh.
right now, especially witness in game number 1, the Jace, picked up here by Team Cambodia. Really nice
Also,
pick.
True, and also a very flexible champion. You can play this on the jungle. You can play this in the mid lane or even in the Baron lane. But Singapore responds properly this time by getting a lane bully in the Renekton. Also, as an engager, going for the Gragas, Senna is still open. So if Cambodia decides to go for that Senna play, that will also be an option for them, and will be a problem for Singapore. But look at this draft from Cambodia. Very good 2 picks. They have the
I love
Jace.
it.
They have a stabilizing factor in the Wukong. So the question is, will they go for Senna? Because I feel that this is already a Senna uncle or a Ziggs uncle.
They can actually get it here for themselves, and also trying to take it away from Team Singapore. A lot of champions are also available. Karma, Ziggs, if they want to up their magic damage. I like the pick on the Galio. So much crowd control present here for Team Cambodia now to leverage in on the Jace pick.
What?
But wow,
What?
first
What?
Zeri picked up here so far. We talked about this champion so much, and the struggles as well being happening usually on the Zeri pick, but now we're going to be seeing it on competitive play.
I want to mention my good friend Omo. Are you approving of this? See, but yes, Zeri has seen the light of day in this game number 2 against Cambodia. Zeri have not had a pop-off moment, at least in the last tournament that we casted Giyang. I was waiting for a pop-off moment from the Spark of Zon. We were denied of it just because of how teams were able to play against this champion.
It's
For
difficult.
the it's so difficult. But for the information of everyone, the main reason why Zeri did not really have that pop-off moment was because of the assassins left and right and tanks, bruisers that is able to get in the face of Zeri, and Zeri scaling. Zeri very much scales well into
Takes
the
a
late
lot.
game, but
Yeah.
it takes a lot of time.
Good job by Team Singapore, though, getting some of the champions that can actually help so much or have a big impact in the early game, like Renekton, even the Gragas, and now the Zed being picked up. It's going to be very difficult, though, honestly, to still make it work here, given the amount of crowd control present here on Team Cambodia. Now they pick up the Ashe as well. That is another champion that can also get information and get that enchanted crystal arrow plus the Yone. Oh my god, there's no champion without a crowd control here for Team Cambodia. Everyone has something to interrupt the movements here of Team Singapore.
And meanwhile, Singapore is doubling down. They want to have an enchanter.
Low PC meta.
Yeah, Yumi plus Zeri. Because why not? You dominate the lane, you accelerate your Zeri, and you basically win off of that. But yes, you're right. I mean, just looking at the draft, I'm actually a fan of the draft here by Cambodia. They have a very good balance of team fighting and split pushing as well. If they are able to dominate the early parts of the game, then Singapore would have a harder time in pulling off their composition that centers around their Zeri. We'll see though. This is still, a David versus Goliath matchup. That I feel that this is still Singapore's game to lose, but Cambodia's draft overall has given them enough tools to actually win this upset.
Yeah, I think Cambodia's composition is really scary. So much crowd control, late game presence as well, frontline power, follow up global presence with the hero's entrance, and even with the enchanted crystal arrow, Team Singapore has to find ways definitely to gain the momentum in the early game, because yeah, you have bullies with the Renekton, with the J, with the Z, you have the Gragas as well to try and get those lanes and try to interrupt some of the aggressive playstyle here of Team Cambodia. But with the Zeri pick, it's going to take a lot of time, a long time for sure, for him to scale up. And well, let's see if it's gonna be going well here for Team Singapore. Definitely, I am having my thumbs up here for Team Cambodia with their draft.
Oh, definitely make that a double thumbs up because so far, I mean, the draft alone gives me hope that they have
Mm-hmm.
what it takes to get an upset against Singapore. But with what's happening right now, they are so confident in putting Raven by his lonesome in the bot lane, and now WJ, since he have seen that Rin is by himself, there is no reason for this cat to be on the top side, and he's now going to follow his buddy Raven in the bot lane.
Yeah, definitely he has to be with Raven, because Zeri will have, Raven will have a hard time clearing out the wave if ever, due to all those spokes present here from M Sing and Rexnick, because they can just try to reduce his HP very low and then ask for a gank from Jim later on, maybe from Ken even, given the long range capability of this Jace. And
Yeah.
Team Singapore overall will maybe just try to have a peaceful
Oop.
time in the bottom lane. Raven, though, doing some work here nonetheless.
Shinsekai on the Gragas as well. So this could mean that this is an AP Gragas. They actually lack a lot of AP damage. I mean, I know that Yumi is mostly built as an AP nuke damage champion, but looks like that we have a trouble in the top lane. Rin is struggling mightily against Jinkai. Jinkai already is still at 90% HP. Meanwhile, Rin less than 20%. This could be a potential dive, but the jungler is actually on the bot side for Singapore. So Singapore will be happy in just putting out the pressure against Wukong in the Baron lane.
Yeah, that's already a slight win here for Team Singapore, having Jinkai win here and basically bully Rin here in the top lane. We're even seeing Jim just hovering there as well, just to help him out, and that gives some information as well to Team Singapore, especially on the latter times, because if this continues to happen, if the bully still continues here onto Rin, not gonna look good here for Team Cambodia on the other lane, since Jin might need to constantly go towards him.
Nope.
Cat takes a bit of damage here from a Rexnick, and will need to just attach to Raven again.
Yeah, again, the laning dominance. Oh, Raven did actually pop his Ghost and Flash off screen. So there is...
And no! First
There you go.
blood! WJ as well will just get taken
No.
down.
Oh,
A
barrier?
sad day for the kitty.
No
And
mana.
actually, the barrier pops off. Soul as well, and the Sensekai.
Oh, he's dead.
Got the kill
Oh,
on the
arrow?
Ken. Oh no!
Ooh. Okay, there was an
2 for
enchanted
1.
crystal arrow off
Oh,
screen.
Fate Seal!
Seal?
Oh, the stun though!
Not
By
enough.
Sensekai helped the body slam, saved Soul in that instance.
Right. Lucky for Soul, he was able to survive that very good fate seal coming from Jean. But yeah. Again, Singapore's lineup is centered around Raven's pop-off moments later in the game. And it's not a good start for them, surrendering lane kills to the opposing side, Emsing. And of course, the Rex Snake was able to get a kill. We can see the very good enchanted crystal arrow
From
from
tree.
downtown. No flash available for the cat. Also has a very low movement speed, and I feel that that's a blind arrow because at that point, Fog of War should already be enabled. So yeah, Kudos or Rex Snake, just showing his arrow chops.
Yeah, and leverage in here for Team Cambodia. Definitely that was not expected by Team Singapore, but also, given their standing or given the situation here in the bottom, I don't think they shouldn't be also trying to be too aggressive here since, the Gali can do wonders. It has a lot of crowd control, especially now that he has this hero's entrance. It's going to be very difficult for them to do the work. Chandler
Arrow.
once again here, this time onto Sin Skies. Jim is now in the area. Fate Sealed onto one, but here comes Ken as well with a shock blast. Hitting Raven. That's gonna be the burn. Almost getting the kill, but now as they overextend, Team Cambodia explodes. Team Singapore pummels them back.
Raven survives that engage. And with 4 people sent by Singapore to respond to the aggression by Cambodia, it was the counterplay needed by Singapore to at least tone down the advantages by Cambodia. And look here, Kiyang, now they're in the lead. It's actually, for me, it's actually a bit overzealous for them going for that aggression. One thing to note that's very easily telegraphed by Singapore. You can see that they know how to play against the Yone. They did not stick as a team. They wanted to distance themselves from each other so that the Fate Seal would only be connecting onto one. But there you go. Singapore, with that advantage, is now setting their sights over to the Rift Herald.
Arrow gonna be connecting though. This time Rin is gonna be joining the fight.
Easy.
The Cyclone doing a lot of work in the front line as well. They take down Jinkai, going now towards Raven, but actually the kiting is starting to work. The cast a little
man
with a body slam onto 3. Dusk commence here, but a Fate Seal is just too much. Here comes Raven popping the ult. Can he actually get the outplay? He gets a double. Now chasing onto Jim, gets a triples. Fate solo down. Will it do the work here? Raven tries to go, but a quadra kill by Raven stops them all.
Dude, now this Zeri is already at the busted level right away. With just Trinity Force, he was able to do so much damage. A lot to unpack in that team fight alone, but then again, the pristine positioning, the ultimate being casted here by Zeri was actually enough for them to get that team fight win, and all of a sudden Singapore is in the driver's seat.
Yeah, they're taking control of this game. Let's check out that replay and how it actually happened. And Raven actually did tremendous work there, kiting away, and due to the slow, especially by Sinsekai as well, it gave a lot of space here for Raven to just continue with the kiting. The triple body slam was pristine. Jim did a really good work, but no follow-up was made there by the rest of the members. So unfortunate there for Team Cambodia. Now they go towards the top. The cask will get Rin. They even get the tower here. Big swing here by Team Singapore. Well, Team Cambodia will get the Ocean Drake, but again, another kill. Unfortunate.
Yeah, and now Singapore is just mopping the floor of this match. 9-3 in the scoreboard, and is already at 5k gold lead. Would be able to assist this Rift Herald onto the second lane tower. This could be another tower for the side of Singapore, and there you go. What a swing here for the Singapore squad. Kiang, it's a very huge win. And as you broke down the replay, I just saw and was just reminded by SSK. Again, he's like the best jungler in Singapore, one of the best players as well. Arrow connects onto one, but that doesn't matter. Raven, again, was given of a quadra kill and still has a Yumi to boot. So you can easily say that the kiting of this champion is already on a busted level, just elevated furthermore by the
Yeah, true. And also, I love how you mentioned the Sensekai there. SSK doing tremendous work, not only saving Soul a while ago in the mid lane, he managed to take the aggression of Jim in the bottom lane fight, allowed them to secure that double kill a while ago, and also in the team fight in the Rift Herald. Just tremendous work overall by this jungler of Team Singapore, helping them get this 5k gold lead now at 8.5 minutes. And now Raven is having the time of his life. After that quad, I mean, that is a big chunk of gold handed over to him. Plus, he has the Yumi, he has a Ghost and a Flash. That's so much mobility. And now they're
Oh, no.
ganking bot lane. Arrow gonna be
Glitch.
connecting for sure, but what can you do? That's
Yep.
still a dead Ken.
Yeah, and you can see the inexperience by Cambodia showing, at least in the 5-minute mark to the 8-minute mark. Ever since that fight in the Rift Herald, everything was so bad for Cambodia. But SSK,
Oh, yeah, Cyclone into the face seal. That is a big combo already. JK trying to escape,
Alright.
but he will not be saved here by WJ. It's
Good
now
counterplay.
Rin gets a kill as well. That is 3 kills
Oh.
already. A big swing and definitely a punished overextension.
Arrow?
Now with
Oh,
the
he
arrow
connects.
connecting, MSing is just going to chain CC, and now they got all the shutdowns, trimming down the gold lead to now just 3k.
is this a caster curse, Guillaume? Because
We
if I've ever seen
complimented
one,
them
this
so
could be
hard.
it. I mean, yeah, I was saying that Singapore was actually in the driver's seat, doing a lot of good plays, one after another, and all of a sudden they decide to dive under 2 towers or between 2 towers, and was immediately punished by the draft by Cambodia. But overall, though, yes, that's a good momentum breaker, and if you're a fan of Cambodia, you'll be happy with that. Still, the lead is on the side of Singapore. Raven, I believe, or if I'm not mistaken, is already at 2 items or closing on that 3-item
Arrow?
power spike. MC?
Yeah, big chain CC. Tensekai was made significant performance already, and they just wanted to take
No
it
jungler.
away from the equation. Yeah, with no jungler present here for Team Singapore, this is a free Left Herald for Team Cambodia. Well
Jeez.
played.
Yep. Now they can decide to even the tower count. You can see that Singapore is scrambling to make their presence felt, wants to get the bot lane tower. At the same time, just plant down the vision on the red quadrant of Cambodia. Cambodia, though, decides to hold off their Rift Herald. They want it on a more juicy target, possibly, the second tier tower in the mid lane. But all in all, just the decisiveness and just the engaged potential coming from Cambodia, catching SSK out of position. And we also have to remember that SSK is running the AP Gragas. He's not going to be very tanky. Radove just completed, Lich Bane completed. Yes, he's going to dish out a huge amount of damage. But with one arrow, you can expect that he's going to die instantly. No stages
True.
as well. So there's really no way for him to buy enough time for his squad.
So he's going for burst here. It can work at times, but he has to be very careful, extremely careful, because now with him, going for AP, it basically says here for Cambodia that if they engage properly, if they take down as Sensekai as well, there's no AP damage present anymore for Team Singapore. Plus, there's no frontline. So that will be a big deal here for this red side team. And SSK has to play it very, very safely. We saw him countless times making the plays here for Team Singapore. But after that big upset, on the top side river, he has to make sure not catch any more arrows.
5 seconds. Infernal Dragon is up. And you could see recalls already happening for the side of Cambodia. I feel that this is going to be a 4v5 at least in the next few seconds. SSK already has stasis available, so there is a way for him to buy some time here. Hawkshot, information gathered by Cambodia. MSing trying to engage onto Jinkai, misses. The Infernal Dragon is half out already.
Yeah, good split up there by JK, trying to draw attention, but no, Team
Can
Cambodia
engage.
will still go in. Hero's entrance as well, all those crowd controls, but he cannot reach
Raven.
Raven. It's
Oh,
now starting to pop up,
oh,
pops
no.
in the ghost. Now they transition towards JK, but yeah, you get the crocodile, but can you get the Zeri? He is now being the one to chase down these squishy members of Team
Oh.
Cambodia. Rexnick tries to slow them down,
He's
but
going
they
back.
are
He's
just
going
going
back.
3 versus 4,
He's going
3
back.
versus 5 here. They get the Yone. Now Rin has to fall back. The slows are coming
no.
in. The speed boost from the Yumi. Rexnick trying to slow them down. The flash in
No more
though
tower.
by the Zeri. Gets Raven to get this kill as well. They're just messing with them right now. Team Singapore, Team Raven here, popping in the Zeri plays. And what can you do when the Zeri's on top of you? You just fall down to the ground.
True, now they can even eat this Infernal Dragon for dinner. And again, what a showing from Singapore. Cambodia's decisiveness, you can see that there's like 2 decisions that was made by the team. One, half of the team wanted to go for Raven, but the other half wanted to go for Jinkai. And that indecisiveness did actually cost him a lot. I know that Cambodia was already in a very good position to at least turn things around, but with that team fight alone and with gifting over an Infernal Dragon to Singapore, looks like that we have the lead swing back to Singapore once again.
Yeah, big turnover once more here by Team Singapore. Goal lead still just a little here, but in terms of the scaling, it's now looking really well here for Team Singapore, especially for Raven. After that instance, well played as well by Jinkai, you know, splitting the team up, and due to the reduced amount of engage towards Raven, they couldn't pin him down. It would take a lot to actually take him away, especially with the protection of WJ, with the protection of SSK as well, and also the flash and the ghost. You need everything to be thrown at him.
Yeah. It's so hard to reach Raven, and I think you can actually make a case of him going for Quicksilver Enchant rather than going for the Stasis. Arrow misses. No reason for Cambodia to follow through. And also one thing to note here, Kiyang, Raven is already at level 13. You can say that the Lightning Crash is already at maximum level, giving him more damage output potential. This is an exciting time because I did say that there has been no pop-off moment for the Zeri yet. We were graced by the presence of the Zeri with a quadra-kill at the first 5 minutes of the game. And with all the items completed as well right now, and all the levels gifted over to Raven, it's easy to say that there could be another pop-off moment waiting to happen for the Singapore's marksman here, Young, and I cannot wait for that to happen.
Yeah, eyes on Team Cambodia and on how they are gonna be trying to make their way inside the composition here of Team Singapore. With the arrow not connecting, it's not looking good here. Again, that's a breathing time for Team Singapore to get those resources and help Raven scale up even more. Even the other members here of Team Singapore just getting all the gold, as we see JK just getting the push there down on the bottom lane despite the efforts of Ken, and now they're heading towards the Baron.
This is melting fast. Talk shot is not available. Cambodia does not know this is happening, but they're sending someone over.
Arrow not connecting towards Raven, but they did draw them away from the Baron. And Jinkai still pursuing bottom lane, and it's giving such frustration here towards Team Cambodia. They do get the reset and they do stop the Baron takedown here of Team Singapore. And that's already a big deal, but it will still be repeated here, time and time again.
And Raven, I believe, already has runes completed as well. So, I mean, 3 items there. What's next? What's good? Boy, as what she's always going to say. It's going to just be a nightmare for Cambodia unless they are able to, you know, find the right engage and pile all the crowd control onto Raven. Oh, Jinkai.
So they go towards Jinkai, but that will send Singapore to take this Baron. And it will take a time for Team Cambodia. Okay.
Soul!
They
Soul is dead!
Here. Yeah, that's gonna be huge. Soul tries to flee, but he won't
Cambodia.
be able to. Here comes Rin with a second Cyclone. Raven trying to start the kiting, trying to stack up the passive. And it's dealing a lot of damage, especially with Runas completed. Can they go for him? Rin is taking a bit. Now Raven closes the distance. They pop the stasis. Here comes Arrow, the flash away by Raven, and they just disengage for now.
I was holding my seat here, Gang, because I thought that I was a 2v5 moment, a montage moment for Raven. But, you know, again, when talking about the cooldowns of ultimates here in Wild Rift, it's so fast. To a fact that, you know, Arexnic is already able to throw another arrow. They're going to force this. I'm not a fan of this, but you know what? They're taking this 5-man strong on the Baron. Yep. They're spotted by the Scuttle Vision.
They are spotted, but I think Team Singapore won't be able to steal this. Good attempt though by Raven. They will still secure this Baron up for Team Cambodia. Really good play, but they have to escape. Team Singapore just eyeing on them, maybe try to interrupt the recalls, but yeah, They will be unsuccessful. They will just try to transition towards this dragon.
In 1 minute and 40, the Baron buff will expire, and so SGP decides to mitigate some damage and get their second dragon. But Cambodia, if they play this correctly, if they go for a 1-3-1 split up, or maybe even a 4-1, they can wreak havoc to the towers of SGP. And that could actually give them enough advantage towards, the ensuing Elder Dragon fight that will start soon. Raven, though.
Oh, no!
Arrow connecting!
Oh, he's the burst! Oh, no! That's a big blunder there for Team Singapore. He got too greedy. The cat is dead as well. With the Baron buff, Team Cambodia can just swing from now.
And now MSIN
no.
also going to die. No
Oh,
spaces available for him. Tower broken down as well in the mid lane. But that's okay. If you're Cambodia, you'll be happy with that. You were able to dish out the lethal blow to Raven and his support. There's no flash available for him, and Cambodia knew that there's no flash available for Zeri. Immediate combo. And this is what we said earlier, Kiang. If you pile all your crowd control onto Raven, it's a lot easier for them to execute this champion. I mean, the question is, what is his enchant? Because I feel that, in order for them to have a better chance in winning this game, Raven has to build the Quicksilver enchant.
Yeah, true. I mean, he is still sticking with the Zonia's Hourglass, or the Stasis, but it's not really canceling those crowd controls. And Team Cambodia, they're very capable of layering those CCs. Now they're trying to chase down Rin, which will still be able to escape. I mean, he is able to tanking a lot of damage. Speaking of damage, Jim actually is dealing quite a lot. And with this Elder Dragon, it's gonna attract both of these teams to just be here for sure. But eyes on Team Cambodia, the arrow
misses.
Almost connecting.
That's okay. In the next 10 seconds, it's already going to be up. I mean, that's the name of the game. But if you're Cambodia, you have to be wary of the top lane push that is happening right now. There's a lot of minions on the top side of the map. This is the inexperience that we are talking about when talking about, the team from Cambodia and even Laos. Singapore is taking advantage of the macro that they have. RX Nick trying to recall, but will be spotted by the ward. Now Jinkai is on the top side.
They're starting
Dragon being started.
Yeah, Team Singapore wants to draw attention towards Team Cambodia and force them into using any of their ult. And they can time it from there. But now they actually ditched the dragon. JK doing a lot of work there towards top side, even diving under the tower. Can he actually get a kill? No, he doesn't. GA has been popped, but Rin is here. MSing as well. And that means Team Singapore is starting the Elder Drake. Jim is trying to do his work to cancel them off, but now they actually turn on to him. Now Raven is going on the front line, doing a lot of work. Soul Unbound into the Fate Seal, but not doing the damage that he is supposed to. And now Raven is online. SSK gets a double. He is on a killing spree, and Team Singapore might just get this Elder.
And might get the win as well in the process. Raven now hits like a truck. I feel for Cambodia, they did almost everything correct, but in that one moment that they were forced to make a decision to either defend the tower on top side or contest the Elder Dragon, Singapore took advantage of what we call the experience that you cannot have without playing like 1,000 games competitively, which Singapore team does have, especially dating back to their days in League of Legends BC. Now they're going for the 2-for-2 special. Was able to get the Elder Dragon and will be able to get the Baron buff as well. I think there's already a GG go next angle here.
My.
Singapore may have checked all the check marks needed in order for them to secure another win.
Okay. Yeah, just cancel the recall, but still fast recall nonetheless. So that's everything that they wanted. Everything being gotten here by this team. Is that an Amaranth's twin guard that the Zeri picked up? Yeah, it's a yeah. So
I mean, again, from the tweet that I read, I think that was from Darkbreaker. It's in a very busted level right now that even marksmen can actually build that item and would still be able to be very impactful. Oh, a very good counterplay. Soul hasn't had the best game so far. You can see in his record 1-4-3, but it doesn't matter because you have Raven.
Yeah, and 3 people, 4 people here in the mid lane. They're just gonna be going for the. And that's a lot of damage onto the Nexus, and I think there's nothing that Team Cambodia can do. Team Singapore cleans the floor off and will take game 1.
Out there, Faden matchup. Congratulations to SGP. What a showing! What a showing for the Singapore squad. Again, still a lot of things to fix, considering how it happened. A lot of good things also to note for the Cambodian team. Feel that they just need, a little bit more decisiveness in order for them to really push over the top. It will be an exciting day for them overall. It's a learning day. It's a learning process, and it's what we call growing pains whenever you're facing against the best of the best teams here in Southeast Asia.
I mean, we saw Team Cambodia try to do their best in this game, and we saw them even having the lead at some point in the game, but I mean, the quadra kill is definitely a big factor there of Raven. I think the moment he got that quadra kill, it's GG, almost GG.
Yeah, I mean the win rate did actually boost by like 20% or 30% in favor of Singapore just off of that 5-minute team fight. But you can see that Cambodia did actually play, to their strengths. They went for very good engages coming from Arexnix Ash, followed up by a lot of crowd control available. At one point, they were able to catch Raven defenseless in the mid lane. They were also able to do some damage against Shinsekai, but again, SGP maximizing the vision game and forcing Cambodia to make a decision at the Elder Dragon fight. Past 20 minutes, it's the situation that is so hard to practice, especially during scrims, because not every game reaches that mark. And it takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of practice matches in order for you to be comfortable. But you could see that Cambodia did actually start this game very, very well. A very good arrow coming from a Rexnick, very good snipe, blind arrow connecting onto the cat.
Yeah, and I think this is where we saw Raven securing the quadra kill, despite all the efforts there of Team Cambodia. and props to Shinsekai as well.
Yeah,
him being the ultimate bodyguard for the team of Team Singapore, helping the team just have that safety net. And despite him being, having the AP build, he was able to protect everyone. So many attempts of Team Cambodia to get back the lead, get something out of anywhere, and they were able to even secure this 3 kills out of the fight, even landing a shutdown towards Raven after him trying to go over the area of his friends. But yeah, it was still just not enough, especially, I mean, this just basically shows the discipline and the amount of experience that Team Singapore has, the traps that they have laid out here for Team Cambodia that they have took, unfortunately. that gave Team Singapore the opportunity to take the objectives for themselves and force those fights for Team Cambodia.
And there was also a ward that was in that brush. You know, when Singapore was threatening the Elder Dragon, there was a ward that was spotting the members of Cambodia. Those are the small things that they have to consider heading into the next matches that they would have. They have to clean those out because with that little information being gifted over to the other team would know how to capitalize, right? And Giang, again, it's the experience that we're talking about. It was a very good showing for Cambodia, but I know that deep within their hearts they wanted to win. That was a very winnable game for them, and they fell short. But that's the learning experience that that they can come up with. I guess we could say it's moral victories for them as well.
Yeah.
But we'll see in their next game if there will be any change whatsoever to the results.
I'm just happy that it's not a one-sided
boom. Because even if you're the best player, if your mental goes boom, your performance goes down in the process as well.
And also, I love that we saw a big performance here from Team Singapore. I mean, the Zeri in particular, definitely able to kite all the way on all of those fights. And it was very difficult for Team Cambodia to actually chase him down. They were facing all those shots that Raven was throwing at them. And it's just so challenging for them. Well played here by Team Singapore for sure. And the combination Zeri and the Yumi plus the main bodyguard of SSK on the Gragas. Here we see Raven dealing an obnoxious amount of damage, 37,000, just a little above here onto SSK.
Yeah, I mean, SSK's performance was actually a bit more impressive to me than Raven, because Raven had everything working for him. He had a quadra kill, he had the ghost, the flash, he has the cat as well. But SSK, regardless of what is being gifted over to the AD carry, he will make sure that his presence is felt. And that's the double trouble that Singapore currently possesses that will be needed to be solved by the next teams that they will be facing against. One thing to note though, Seoul did not again have the best game out of the 5 members that we have from the Singapore team. But I feel that this is going to just be an upward trajectory for him. Overall, it still is a win for Singapore, and Seoul needs to improve on this if they want to really challenge the best of the best in this thing.
Yeah, on Team Cambodia, despite this loss, should not take this too hard on themselves. Definitely, MVP is gonna be SSK. Definitely, like what you mentioned, this guy just was making wonders all throughout the game, making the plays offensively or defensively, saving their mid laner in the mid lane, saving Soul, helping out Raven and WJ in the bottom lane when Jim ganked there, taking the Fate Seal for himself, and also the triple body slam, those casts, everything. Just this guy is the ultimate bodyguard for the team of Team Singapore.
I feel that he's still the best player Singapore has ever produced. I guess SSK is almost always going to have that carry game. And in this game, he showed that he's able to carry on the AP Gragas. We were a bit worried because his pathing was towards the AP side. But if you actually are able to perform this well, if you're able to land those skill shots, then yeah, sure, fire away with all those AP items on your Gragas, because the damage per minute of this guy is above 1,500. Insane performance overall from Shinsekai.
Oh, true. I mean, it's always very scary to build AP on the Gragas, especially when your whole draft or your composition on your team doesn't have any frontline, no tanks at all, except for maybe the a little bit on the Renekton of JK, but having the AP build on the Gragas, it's a double-edged sword for sure, and Sakai made those blades hurt more on the enemies, onto the members of Team Cambodia, especially with the amount of damage. Every time he casts the Q, it deals a big chunk of the HP bars there of Team Cambodia. And well, despite this, I think both of these teams are still going to be looking forward positively towards the rest of the day and onto tomorrow for sure. And I believe our next matchup is going to be for Team Philippines versus Team Cambodia. Another match here for Team Cambodia for sure.
Yeah, a back-to-back and an even more difficult matchup. I feel that we're going to a very short break here, Gia.
Yeah, and we are going to be continuing with a match of Team Philippines and Team Cambodia. We'll be back after short break. We are your casters, Giang and Otulus.